Alright guys, so I am here with a video, another reloading video, and as you all know, I've load shot shells in 12 gauge, but I recently got into 16 and 20 gauge smokeless, so that brings my shot shell range from I load 410, 20 gauge, 16 gauge, and 12 gauge, and I have shotguns and all that. So I'll need something to feed them. And ever since I started reloading 12 gauge, I've kind of felt like buying factory loads is for suckers, especially in 410 and 16. Especially 410. That costs me like $2.50 a box to reload, whereas sorry, I got like shit coming up my throat. Whereas with you're buying store ammo, Remington game loads, I think they were like 14 bucks at Walmart. So would you rather pay $2.50 and do a few minutes of work, or maybe 20 minutes a box, or get $14 and buy ammo? I thought so. Well, my reloads, they perform well in all gauges. I just use them for trap or whatever, blowing things up. Obviously I don't use double-aught or slugs for trap, because that's just, I ain't gonna hit anything. And downrange, a slug has way more travel than birdshot. But I'm gonna walk you through the process here on how to reload 20 gauge shells with the Lee load-all, and kind of get into this whole process. So I'll show you the 20 gauge shotgun real quick that I just got, and show you what I'm feeding these shells to. This is appeared in one of my earlier videos, so hold on a sec. Alright, so here's the shotgun I'm using them out of, say, God, I almost said Remington 512, but it's not a Remington 512. You see that logo? I don't know if you can see it. This is a Smith & Wesson 916A pump action, 5+1 capacity, 20 gauge, 3-inch, and I like it a lot. Modified choke, by the way. But pump actions are, I really like them for this sole reason alone, the sound that they make. So I mean, just let's check it. Yeah, it's empty. And I already knew it, and I safety checked it before the video, just FYI. But this is a lot like a Mossy 500 from what I've heard, with the exception of it being a single bar action. So what that means is it's got this bar right here, and that transfers the energy from the pump to the action. So I already have a review up on this on my channel of this gun. So there's the safety hard rubber butt plate. This is aluminum, I think. I reblued the receiver barrel and magazine too, but I already have a review up, so I'm going to get back to the whole shot shell reloading thing. But I'm going to do a video, like a shooting video of this, like a formal range review, so stay tuned for that. Alright, so I'm just going to do a quick overview on how this thing is operated and the necessary components. I'm using IMR 700X. This is a great powder. It's actually pretty hot for a 12 gauge and pretty much any other kind of load. I just reduce the charge by 1 grain since it's a little bit hotter than, say, Hodgdon tightwad, or let's see, Red Dot is kind of similar to that. But I've used quite a few shotgun powders, and I'm experienced enough in reloading to know a thing or two about powders. But I like 700X a lot. A can of this ran me about 20 bucks at the gun club. and I bought about 5 cans of this just because I needed to stock up, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to get shotgun powder. But IMR 700X is actually really good stuff. My first shells, you know, this might have been in my first shell that I loaded of 12 gauge, either that or tight wad. Speaking of wads, I am using Windjammer tournament wads. So these are 20 gauge, and as you can see, these wads are from Gay Street, so don't forget that. But it's just a, you know, typical looking trap wad, 8-finger plastic. It's got some kind of ribbing on the bottom of it, basic plastic cup wad. And I broke quite a few clays with this when I fired my hand loads, so these are decent wads. As for primers, I only use Chedites, and these are actually pretty hot. I've tried a lot of different primers, and I've just settled on Chedites because they're 38 bucks for 1,000, and you know, they do the job. I've never had a Chedite primer misfire ever in all of my hand loading, and I've probably gone through a lot of those things, many thousands of them, because I shoot a lot of shotgun shells. So I'm going to start the reloading process. I'm going to show you how to reload a shell. I've got a Federal hull right here. I'm probably going to booger this one up because it's my last hull, but you know, let's get started here. Okay, here. So start by putting a fresh primer in this hole, face up. That's the end that the fire comes out of. Get your fired hull or fresh. You know, some hulls you'll buy that they're primed. I bought 16 and 410 gauge hulls from Ballistic Products, and they came primed. So you're going to place this ring with this this groove in it up, and this is the sizing die. So I'm going to stick this in here. Hold on, it's hard to do and film at the same time. And you basically just force it down. Hold on. So that kicks out the primer, and all the primers just fall in that hole. You lift this little gate up and you remove them. I'm not going to open it and have primer spill everywhere. So stick it in there, and this is really hard to do while filming. So just you know, you got that in there, you press down. What it does is it removes the shell casing from the die, and there you go, you've got a nice fresh primer. Okay, I'm sorry, my camera shut off on me, but we're going to commence to put load in the shell. So get a wad and get your powder bar. Make sure before you attempt to charge a shell that the thing is on the side for the powder. Slide it over. Look in there. You've got a nice charge of 700X shot shell powder. Get your wad, stick it in the wad guide right there, and seat it into the hull. And while this is down, sorry, I have like heartburn up the ass. Slide the thing over and that'll drop your shot. Hold on. And I'm using number 6 shot, and they're kind of sticking in this because they're old and the graphite or whatever they put on there has rubbed off. And I just have to flick it or something. Okay, all the shot dropped. So you've got your shot. And these are not, this press isn't set up for Federals. This is just my last Federal. I'm just going to have to drop a few pellets in there to kind of It only takes a couple to boost the load column up to where it needs to be. Now you place the shell here. This is the 6-point crimp station, or yeah, it's 6-point, and then this is the 8-point right there. So you've got two options. I'm gonna go ahead and do a 6-point crimp just because I know it'll do 8. So bring the thing completely down, and that's an acceptable amount. You can also just rotate it a little bit if you're not satisfied with the pre-crimp, and give it a little bit more. This is a cheap press, so it's not going to do everything perfect, so I'd say that's a good enough amount of pre-crimp. Stick this in the final stage that will seat your crimp. Hold on. It's starting to go up, so I'm just going to have to pull this thing out a little bit. And then, there we go. It's hard to do it when it's not belted down to the thing. So there's your loaded shot shell, and that's how you load shells on the Lee press, minus the addition of shot. But what I do is I load all my I prime and size all my holes first, and it makes it faster. So I'm going to talk about the construction of the Lee Load All 2 press. You can buy conversion kits for it. I got one in 20 gauge to go with my 16 gauge press. When I bought this was 16, but I have it in 20 gauge configuration right now. This is a little bit different than a mech or RCBS. The base is made out of hard plastic, but it hasn't broken, and I've loaded a hell of a lot of shells with it. This is you know, all this stuff is plastic, but it, you know, I don't know if this might be steel or something, but it works. Why not? You know, it's some sort of polymer. So you got to put your sizing die there. That's obviously a little bit slower than with a mech, where you can just go like that and it'll automatically decap it and take the die out, or the shell out of the die. But you've got these wad guides. It does not slide up and down like on a mech, which I don't like, but I'm not going to bitch, moan, or complain about it. Aluminum right here. This is steel. You got this gate for the primers where you just lift it up and you can see the dead primers in there. That's how you empty it. There's your seating die, and of course you've got a hole under the primer each time. This is made out of metal, so that's not going to bend or break or anything under normal usage. To fill it, what you do is you lift this up, and you've got your shot in there and your powder in there. You've also got a container up here for, I don't know, buried treasure, or you know, you could put whatever the hell you want in there, I guess. I'd just put my dies in there. In fact, I'm going to do that with all my bushings and stuff and put them in there. I'll see if it fits them all. Hold on a sec. Okay, well, they all fit, so that's kind of a neat feature. So, you know, to change it out, you've got two screws located at the bottom and the back, right in the bottom of the powder and shot hoppers. And I use a like a Black & Decker like mechanical screwdriver thing to do it. It's just the right size to grip these little nut things, and you got to take off the nuts in there and take out the powder hopper, which is attached to the die set. Take these screws out, change out the dies for the bushings for whatever the hell you're loading or you're planning to load. And these presses come in 12, 16, and 20 gauge, so you know, for $15 you're basically getting another press. I think when I ordered this from Natchez Shooter Supply, it was like, I think 12 or 15 bucks for a second set of dies, so it's pretty cheap. You could mount this to a tabletop or just put a board. I guess if you put some cinder blocks on there, you could make it sturdier than hell and just reload anywhere, like on a tailgate of a truck or something, you know, at the range even. So the dies look like they're made out of some kind of carbide or steel or something. They look to be just about the same quality as on my mech. Not really much else to talk about. This press retails for about 40 to 50 bucks, you know, so it's a relatively cheap way to get started. Anyway, I hope this video was informative to you guys and you learned something. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and God bless America. Join the NRA to help protect our rights. And have a good one.